What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Season 5, Episode 4. So let's talk about Letitia and Marceau. The episode starts off with them. They are visiting their property where they're going to break ground for Scott Manor. While they're there, they're talking about Letitia's mother's food truck and whether or not to let Martel back into Skolt. So Letitia asks Marceau, how come you are so unwilling to invest in my mother's food truck, but you're more willing to allow Martel to come back to Skolt? And Marceau said that, well, with Miss Wanda, she's not ready, or her business doesn't seem like it's worth investing into at this time because the food truck that she wants to use is not even running. Letitia tells Marceau that the food truck that her mom wants to use is definitely operating. Marceau says he doesn't believe it. He says that Miss Wanda is just lying to her. And my whole thing is, Marceau, just give Miss Wanda her money so she can start this damn business. Because if she has her own business to run, maybe she won't be so concerned with your business and what you are doing or not doing or whatever the hell is going on out there in Huntsville. So give her some money, let her start her damn food truck. Then she's not going to be so engrossed in social media, worrying about whether or not you're cheating on her daughter, showing her daughter pictures of your naked back that some other woman must have taken at a hotel. So give her the money, let her start her food truck. That's going to keep her occupied. It's a win-win situation for everybody. If her food truck is not operating, give her some damn money to fix it. Letitia said that Skolt, ever since she took over as a majority shareholder, it's been making millions and millions and millions of dollars. So you can give her however much money she's asking for, 10, 20, $50,000, whatever it is, to get her food truck going. What is the problem? And so Marceau says that the reason why he's okay with Martel coming back to Skold is because, they're all about business. Martel is about business and making money. Letitia says, well, he says some really awful things about you, talking about you sleeping with 20 different women. That could have ruined our family. And I'm like, Letitia, how could whatever Martell say ruin your family when you claim that everybody's lying? The only person telling the truth is Marceau. You believe everything your husband says. You don't believe anything else anybody else says because people are all just so jealous. So why would that have ruined your marriage, what he said? You don't want Martel involved in this business, maybe because you don't want Marceau and Martel to spend all this time together. And you don't want Martel possibly leading your husband astray again. So maybe that's the reason why. Maybe you just don't, you are uncomfortable with the friendship and the partnership that Martel and Marceau will have, and they're going to be back to their old shenanigans when they used to work together before. Shenanigans meaning chasing women. So Letitia tells her husband, look, for me to be okay with Martel coming back to Skull, I have to have a meeting with him and I need to talk to him and, see what's what after I speak with him. Moving on. Martel meets with Melnika. He wants to talk to Melnika about this rumor that's going around, supposedly started by Melody, but I don't really remember Melody telling Kimmy that she believed Martel and Melnika were having an affair because Melnika is married. I don't remember Melody saying that, but that's what they're saying this season. That when Melody and Kimmy had their little meeting, and Melody was giving the history of Melnika and why she feels the way she feels about Melnika, I guess she threw in there that she thought that Monique and Martel were having something. They were having something going on. I don't remember that. So he meets up with Melnika and he tells Melnika, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. There's this rumor going around that me and you are having an affair. Melnika was not happy about that because she's a whole married woman and she doesn't want her husband to misunderstand or to question the relationship that she has with Martel, which is strictly business. So Melnika is like, okay, thanks for the heads up. I'll keep that in mind. So Monica also wanted it to be known that when she ended up jumping ship, because she was Melody and Martel's wedding planner, and according to Melody, Monica had jumped ship and was no longer planning their wedding 2 weeks before the actual wedding because She said that Melody had said that Melnika was trying to tell Melody that Martell was trying to holler at her assistant, or Martell and her assistant had something going on. Melody and Melnika got into it, so Melnika ended up no longer planning the wedding, and her mother had to come and step in. So according to Melody, all of this happened 2 weeks prior to the actual wedding date. Melnika wanted it to be known in this episode that she did not jump ship 2 weeks prior. It was actually months before when she ended up leaving the project and having her mother take over as Melody and Martell's wedding planner. Moving on. Melody, she is with her mom. And this was so funny to me. She's with her mom, and they're talking about this picture that Miss Vanessa had posted of Letitia wearing a wifey t-shirt that was actually sold by Melody. This is one of her merch. It's part of her merchandise, this wifey t-shirt that Letitia was wearing. And so I don't know why Miss Vanessa posted this picture of Letitia. I really didn't understand. But I feel like maybe Letitia had worn that t-shirt. And I think she wore it to the to Kimmy's what was it called? Galvantine event. I think that's where she wore it to. And I think Letitia wore it to kind of like, put it up in Melody's face and I'm still a wifey. I'm wearing one of your t-shirts that you have made when you were still a wife, but you are no longer a wife, but I can still wear it because I'm an actual wife. I think that's why, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think that's why Letitia wore that shirt. Now, why Miss Vanessa posted it, I don't know. That part I totally missed. It went completely above my head. So when Miss Vanessa posted that picture of Letitia, I guess Letitia didn't like it. Letitia, she's too scared to confront anybody directly. So she'll try to confront them indirectly, or she'll have one of her minions, like her mother or her husband, do the confrontation for her. So she told Marceau about it. Evidently, however she presented it to Marceau got mad. And so he retaliated by posting a picture of two Coca-Cola bottles. One of them said Vanessa, the other one said Scott. And they were next to each other, so it read Vanessa Scott, which he's, throwing it out there that Vanessa had wanted to be a Scott because she was dating one of Marceau's relatives. I don't know if this was a brother or a cousin or what, but, Miss Vanessa, allegedly, according to the Scotts, she was dating one of their relatives, this guy by the name of Mark Scott. And so he put that picture up there to really embarrass her because Miss Vanessa had been denying that she had any kind of personal relationship with Mark Scott. According to Miss Vanessa, it was completely professional, it was completely business, and there was absolutely no hanky-panky. Well, the Scotts had said that they don't believe that Miss Vanessa was definitely dating, and at the reunion, not for season 4, but for season 3, at that reunion, even Martell had went over to the Scott side to confirm that most definitely Vanessa was having a relationship with Mark Scott. Now, why does Vanessa feel ashamed to admit that she was having a relationship with Mark Scott? She's single, she's grown, she can be whoever the hell she wants to be with. Why does that have to be so secretive? So for Marceau to put those the posting of those Coke bottles saying Vanessa Scott, he was really like trying to really dig it into Miss Vanessa. Hey, don't think we forgot. We still remember you dating our relative, our brother, our cousin, whoever he is to them. And we're going to let the whole world know it again. We're going to remind everybody again. In her confessional, the producers asked Melody to expound a little bit more on the whole Vanessa and Mark Scott situation. Melody absolutely refused to talk about it. She was like, no comment. So they tried to ask her again in another way. Once again, she was like, no comment, not talking about that. And I think it was because this was during her, well, number one, her mom said that she wasn't even dating Mark Scott. I don't think Melody wanted to get into that, because I think Melody knows what the truth is. She doesn't want to betray her mother, but she also doesn't want to come out as a big fat liar, because why would her mother take pictures of these Coke bottles that said Vanessa Scott if she had nothing to do with Mark Scott other than being a professional business associate with them. So Melody wanted to leave that completely alone. Moving on to Martell. He finally ends up meeting with Tisha. This was supposed to be a business meeting, but Tisha wants to talk about the gossip, the mess, the smut. So she brings up this whole social media thing. And I was like so embarrassed for Tisha because Martell wants to make money. He's ready to get back into the whole construction thing, and he wants to, like, are you gonna let me back into Scold or what? He ain't got time for the gossip. Okay, y'all always talk about how, oh, men cannot get involved in women's business. Men cannot get involved with women's business, but no one's saying anything about Marcel posting the Coke bottle. And now Tisha wants to drag Martell into this whole situation, this beef that she's having with Vanessa. So she wants to talk about the whole social media thing. Why did Miss Vanessa had to post that picture of me? Martell was like, well, isn't she just supporting your marriage or supporting marriage in general when she posted that picture of you in the wifey t-shirt? Tisha was like, no, she was just being shady. Tisha says that so the whole thing with the Coke bottles was that Miss Vanessa, when she was working for the Scotts, or when she was working for Scold, and she was working, I guess, with Mark, they're supposedly having a thing going on, and Miss Vanessa, at her grown age, was looking for Coke bottles that said Vanessa and Scott, because this was during the time when Coca-Cola was manufacturing those Coke bottles that were personalized and had people's names on them, right? So she was looking, she looked high and low for these two bottles that said Vanessa and Scott, put them together, took a picture, and she sent that picture to Letitia. And she confided in Letitia that she was having a relationship with Mark, and she didn't want anyone to know about it. Letitia was like, no, I'm going to tell my husband because, y'all are supposed to be working, but y'all are out there doing Lord knows what, carrying on this relationship when y'all are supposed to be actually working. So she tells Marceau about it, and evidently, I guess she must have sent the picture to Marceau. I don't know. Fast forward to now, 2022. Here we are. Marceau posts the picture of the Coke bottles on social media. Evidently, Martell, he doesn't want to get involved with that. He just wants to know, am I in or not? So Letitia tells Marceau, you need to understand that if you do come back to Scold, I'm the boss, because when I bought you out, I became the majority shareholder. So I call all the shots. Everything has to be ran by me. And Martell is like, okay, fine, whatever. He'll say anything. He'll make a deal with the devil just to get back into Scold. And then she also tells him, and you cannot be saying reckless things anymore about my marriage, about my husband, whatever. Martell's like, okay, fine, got you. Later on, Martell meets with the guys, Maurice, Marceau, and Louis. And they start talking about him controlling his emotions. And Marceau tells Martell, look, if you're going to come back in with Skull, we want you to understand one thing. No more outbursts. No matter what you're going through, no matter what kind of pressure you're under, the outburst about what people are doing or not doing, all that personal stuff, you got to cut it. Martell says anybody is capable of being under extreme pressure or extreme emotional distress and can say anything at any time. And both Marceau and Maurice tell Martell, look, we don't care. No, you need to make a conscious decision that there are going to be certain things that you do not say because it's very detrimental to people. So you need to make that conscious decision that if you get under a whole lot of stress or you get extremely upset or whatever's going on with you, there's certain things that you're not going to say. Okay, fine, whatever. I think that he spilled the beans on them. He spilled the beans on them because I truly do believe that Marceau and Maurice and Martell were all up to the same shenanigans, chasing women, hooking up with women, whatever. I think they were all involved in that, and they don't want Martell to have a breakdown and reveal their secrets again. He did it the first time. They kind of got away with it, and they're like, you need to control yourself, okay? So Martell knows what's up. He's going to do his best, but Martell is one of those people, when he gets emotional, he cuts deep. He wants to hit below the belt. He's done it to his own wife, Melody, his ex-wife, Melody. He's done it to Marcel. When he gets upset, he goes below the belt. He doesn't really care. So if they don't want Martell to reveal any more secrets, they need to stop what they're doing. Give him nothing to reveal, right? Okay, makes sense to me. So then they start talking about the social media posts between Miss Vanessa and, and Marceau. So Marceau gives an explanation of, of how it came to be. He was like, you know what, when she posted that picture of my wife, I did the same thing. I posted the picture of the Coke bottles. If she said that she was in support of marriage, then I posted my Coke bottles in support of marriage. He thinks he's real funny. So then he tells them that Miss Vanessa was paying Mark's child support. Miss Vanessa was in it deep. Okay, I can see why Melody didn't want to talk about Mark and her mom, because this was during her mother's stupid phase. Because you know how a person can be so head over heels in love with someone that they just do things that are completely out of character. And I think that was Miss Vanessa when she was with Mark, because she was out there acting like a little schoolgirl. Okay, trying to put Coke bottles together that has her first name and his last name because it's so cute. Oh my God, maybe I'm going to be a Mrs. Scott one day. She's out there doing that. She's out there paying this man's child support, allegedly, according to Marceau. Who knows if it's true or not? And if these things are true, it's like, wow, Miss Vanessa, at your grown age, you were in it deep for Mark. He was rocking your world. Moving on. Madani reopening. Okay, so now we're at the at Destiny's Madani reopening. She's having a conversation with Martell, and Melnika is standing right next to Martell. And Martell asks Destiny, "Where's Mel?" And Destiny says, "She's standing right there next to you." And obviously, she knew exactly who he was talking about. So then Martell clarifies and says, "Did you invite Melody?" And that's when we see the gold. What was she driving? A gold G-Wagon? I forget what it was. So she comes up in her gold car. I'm assuming that was Melody. And that's where the episode ends. Now, Melody had said in one of her confessionals that she was going to come to the Madonna reopening because she's out there to support black businesses. But we all know that she's coming there to start some mess. I'm assuming she really wanted to confront Wanda. But we will see how that unfolds in the next episode. Y'all, Miss Vanessa, she was gone. This man had her turned upside down, flipped inside out. Her nose was wide open for Mark Scott. She was deep. She was crazy deep in love with that man. If you're out there paying his damn child support. That's a damn shame, Miss Vanessa. Thank you so much for joining me. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.